Okay. All right. I am excited to talk to you guys today. We have amazing panelists brought to you today on our Superstar Director panel. And today our topic is going to be team promotions. I know this is something that I struggled with for a long time, and I felt like once I was doing all the right things, it just kind of started to fall into place. Consistency for me was one of the main things that once I became extra consistent with my systems and the things I was doing and how I was training and getting that personal feel, I started to see all the difference in the world, and it was just like a snowball effect. So if you are in that position or you're struggling with team promotions, I'm really excited for you guys to hear from our two amazing Superstar Directors who have had amazing growth in their businesses and are here to tell you exactly how they have done that. So without further ado, I am going to just ask some questions to both of them, and I will let them introduce themselves. So we have Martha Murray, and we also have Jessie Markowitz. So welcome, ladies. I'm excited to have you here. So I'm going to start with you, Martha. You know, I think the first thing is getting those new recruits, which we had to talk about a couple weeks ago about building that, helping your team members recruit. But then once you get them on, the next step is building them, setting them up for success. So how do you launch your new consultants? Martha, I'll start with you.
I do virtual bingo parties is what I do, and I create their Facebook group for them. So I want it set up a specific way, and I post, you know, we schedule their virtual bingo party within the next 7 to 10 days within their join date. And I do the bingo party for them as their launch party is what I have been doing during the pandemic. So I feel like it has really set the stage for them, like what to post in their groups, how to post in their groups, and then after their bingo party, that becomes their VIP group for their customer group.
That's awesome. So you set the group up, you do it all, and then you just basically gift to them this group full of their already existing customers.
Correct.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much. Jessie, how are you doing that? How are you launching your new recruits to start off with to help them?
Okay, so you wanted me to share about myself really fast or no?
Yes, please. Sorry.
What kind of questions? Like,
yes, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I've been with Sensi since April of 2011, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I started my business in New Mexico, so it was a very small town. And then I had to move, which a lot of us have had to move in our business, and that's actually a blessing. Starting over because you have a whole new platform of people. So I was thinking about this when you asked me the questions last night. I was thinking about my answers, and everybody is different. To be honest with you, I don't have a specific way because for me, I think questions are very important. I kind of need to know where my person's mindset is because I've noticed that if their mindset is in a way of just being like a smart shopper and that's all their mindset wants to be, I need to make sure that I am showing them the best practices because it's usually the best practice mindset, the smart shoppers, mindset is usually because they have some kind of lack of self-confidence or fear of not being successful as a business person. So what I was thinking about is that I usually find out where their mindset is and then still encourage the first things first checklist because one of my experiences as an early leader is I led out of fear myself is because when I found out somebody just wanted to join for the discount, I only led with that and I just kind of I kind of enabled them and let them know that, okay, oh, you just want to be a smart shopper. Great. Here's how you place your orders and let me know if you need anything type thing. And that was where I struggled and why a lot of people didn't grow as fast in the beginning for me. Well, even up until recently, I discovered this mindset of mine that Scentsy has a slam dunk first things first checklist that was created by a lot of people like all of us that, you know, earned Sensational Start level 3, and there were specific steps we were doing. And none of us really had the confidence of being a business builder. I would be surprised if anybody on this panel said, you know, hi, I started Scentsy thinking that I knew that I was going to go straight to the top type thing. So in short, basically my answer is find out where their mindset is, but then be able to nurture that mindset and say, okay, these are best practices. And the one thing that I think that is interesting is that every launch party is focused on our warm market. Even with somebody that wants to do good in the business and wants to make it, at least try to make it a business. So when we focus on nurturing where their mindset is and being very focused on, let's just introduce these products to your friends and family that are close to you, because they're probably buying Scentsy already. And if they're not, it's very likely they're going to start once you introduce it to them. So they say, how do you eat an elephant with very small bites? Meaning starting them to understanding that the launch party is very important, but it's where they're at. Meaning, okay, I'm okay with introducing it to my close friends and family. Now, you guys are probably thinking, well, that's what we do with even people that want to start a business. But again, it's helping them. You're nurturing their comfort zone from the beginning, but also helping them step out of their comfort zone at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so, it does. And that brings me to my next question with, and I wanted to ask Martha, and if you would please introduce yourself to Martha so that everybody knows who you are, those that don't know, that brings me a good question, because I love that you said it really matters. You don't have just this one set way of introducing a business to every single person, because everybody is different. And that was eye-opening to me, because I just have one set way how I do it with everybody. I don't really take that into consideration. And you said, how do you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time. So how do you train them, as far as how do you train them from the beginning? Do you teach them about all the, do you want to get certified? Do you want to get Sensational Start? What is your steps, your process for that, Martha?
I'm Martha Murray. I'm from Chicago area. Moved to Alabama 4 years ago, thanks to Scentsy. So what I do is when I have a new consultant come on, I share with them, our first goal is for you to sell $500 within your first 15 days. And that's overwhelming to them at first. So how are you going to do that? And then I go into, I'm going to create the Facebook group. You're going to invite a minimum of 50 people to this group via text message or Facebook message that you are launching your business. And we're doing a bingo party and all the things. And that's how we're going to achieve that first goal. And I only take one goal at a time. It's the 500 first, then we want to get them to certified, and then start on Sensational Starts level 1, 2, and then 3. And so typically from their bingo party, we book 2 to 3 parties from that party is what we have been doing. And so we've got several joining from these bingo parties. You know, people are looking for a community right now, and bingo parties are providing that community that they're looking for. They're looking to connect with people, and they've been a game changer for us and our entire group.
And how do you communicate? I'm going to stay with you, Martha, but how do you communicate? How do you find that's best for you to communicate with your team?
My new consultants, I do all of my one-on-one with them training, and I'm zeroed in on them for that first 70 days. I want to get them up and running, and I do that through Marco Polo. After that, some of them continue to communicate with me via Marco Polo. Some of them, then we kind of switch over to text message. It kind of depends on, in your first 70 days, you're going to know, I've had people, they're joining for the discount. They tell me up front, but I'm like, okay, that's great and wonderful, but let's get you going. Let's get you earning this amazing shooting star kit. And then they've seen the opportunity of the business, and they're willing to go in. And so many times our recruits are coming, through social media right now. Marco Polo gives me an opportunity to connect with them. They see me, they connect with me, and I love that connection. And I think once they get over that initial, like, oh, Marco Polo, that's kind of scary. It takes me a little while sometimes to get some people over that, but once they do that, they're loving that as well.
Okay, awesome. That's great. I do love Marco Polo. I find that it takes a lot of time, but it really does. It helps with that. It builds that connection with them, and you just get to know them on a whole different level. Sometimes you get to see their kids because their kids will pop in and out. So I feel like that helps you to build that sticky community, which we talked about last week too. So Jesse, I'm going to come back to you kind of on the same question about how, you were talking about elephants and small bites and getting them there. What else do you do to help them? And I'm not just talking about new ones anymore. I'm talking about any consultant on your team, maybe some that have been sitting there for a certified consultant for 2-3 years, or, lead consultant who have lost their downline. How do you help those to move up and to start seeing more potential?
Well, honestly, I'm going to say everything goes with questions. When I say I'm specifically seeing somebody, like you said, a perfect example of a certified consultant's been there forever. I need to reach out to them, because usually I was just talking to my leaders on another call about how Sensi is a slam dunk. If you do work and you do the actions consistently, like you talked about earlier, it works, it happens. It's usually a personal struggle or what's going on in their life, where their focus is. And so usually setting up time to talk on a personal level and finding out what's going on with them is very important and very insightful. And they don't know how Sensi can add value to their lives by moving forward in their business. And so by us listening and asking the right questions, which is where coaching comes in, is going to help them kind of dig deep and find out. They may not even realize they're stagnant in their business. They may not even realize or think that it's a bad thing. However, human nature is we have to be moving forward. Like even if we don't realize that we're stagnant, we're maybe even a little depressed, and it's because nowhere in our lives is moving forward. And so Sensi can be that avenue to even push them forward, like their next step in their business. Getting their first team member or whatever. And so I know I don't have a cut and dry answer, but it really has to do with getting on the phone. I'm big on, I love how Martha uses Marco Polo. We need to see their face, or at least hear their voices, and they need to hear yours, because it's so important for them to understand that you really do care about them on a personal level. And that's what gets them kind of to peel the onion for us, to help us do that. Because I think everybody struggles with self-worth. And when we're able to kind of find out where they're struggling and why, then the thing is you said something about sticky communities. We want retainability. We want people to stick with us for a while. And then we could also ask them, if they've been certified for 3 years, what's kept you around this long? Because there's something that's kept them around long enough, meaning they don't want to leave. So that's enough to say that there's a very high percentage that they're not going to resist us by helping them move to the next level. But it's important to find out if they even understand what that means, because they may not even have thought further about sponsoring, or how is that going to affect me? Usually people are always going to ask the question, what's in it for me? Why would I want to promote? What's that going to do for me? So asking the right questions, understanding where they are, what's kept them for so long, and what has stopped them from moving forward. And again, they may not have even thought about that before. And so the quote that I go by that kind of helps me remember where my role is by Socrates. And it's, I cannot teach anybody anything, but I can make you think. And that's a big role that we have, is we need to get these people thinking and digging deeper of what's stopping them from utilize this opportunity. Because like I said, the opportunity is a slam dunk if you're sharing and you're learning how to do it. But it's usually our own itty bitty icky committee that Becca Levi always says that's stopping. And it's usually a personal challenge that I'm not saying we have to become their psychologist or anything, but they need to know we care. That's important. So connection one-on-one is definitely, I think, something that we should definitely be doing consistently if we can.
Yeah, I love that you said, I'm having a lot of aha moments myself, but I love that you said they may not even know they're stagnant. And
Mhm.
again, another eye opener, because here we're sitting here seeing that they've been in this position, they're consistently selling, and I mean, and not that it's not great, it's perfect, but they could do more. They could do more to help bless people's lives, and they don't even know that. They don't even, a lot of them, in my experience, they don't move forward because they don't know how. And like you said, they don't know what's out there. And so by showing them what they can accomplish and how to get there makes a world of difference. So Martha, I'm going to come back to you, and I just want to ask you, how do you help them to see, not necessarily their self-worth, but how do you help them to see what the next step is, or how do you connect them to where they know exactly what they need to do to get to the next level, and even instilling that belief in them?
I think there's a few things that go into play. And over the past year, I really focused on servanthood leadership. Not everyone wants to communicate the same way. Not everyone is in the same growth mindset in this business. And so we have to figure out, and to me, as their leaders, we need to serve them. Serving them involves in compliments, uplift, praise, listening, all the things is what we have. And when we listen, we're going to find out where they're at in this business. And so one thing I've started focusing on is maybe, I like project broadcast. I use that in my business. Okay, you send out a text message to all your team. Okay, some are going to respond, some are not going to respond. When those that respond, you're going to know who you need to work with. And so that's one thing I've really been, sending out these text messages. Then I kind of narrow down who I want to work with, or who wants me to work with them. And what I've been doing is I take 3 or 4 people that are wanting to grow the business, and I put like-minded people in Marco Polo groups together. I started doing that about a year ago, and with this pandemic, we have 7 new directors in October last month. So that was huge, and it kind of let me know this is working. So I'm going to keep doing this, right? So that's what I've really been focusing on is, and I send out postcards, just you matter, or, just little postcards like that, because Jesse was so right on, so many people don't realize their worth, their value, and they want that. Sensi provides that. This is the community they need, right? And so that's where I think has been a huge game changer for us in this business. Just have to people provide the community that they're looking for. Everyone wants to belong. They want to know they matter, and they want to feel valued.
Wow. Something that I've seen recently too is I have a few people that have joined in the last month or two that have had maybe husbands or sisters or family members that just don't believe that they could do this. And once they see that they can do this, and they, in a sense, prove them wrong, then it just empowers them to do so much and to keep going and to keep pushing. And they have so many naysayers that are behind them, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes in other people's lives. And that's another reason that Marco Polo and building that community is so important, because then we get to know the deeper side of things. And so it's so exciting and so rewarding for us as leaders to see that, and to see them reaching their full potential, and to see things that they didn't even realize existed in themselves. And so I love that you have such a servant leadership, and that's how you lead, because it's more than just a paycheck for me. It goes way beyond that. It's more about the satisfaction of knowing that we're blessing others' lives, not just with new team members, but then those within ours. And there's still some that just don't want to grow a team. They just are happy being certified for 10 plus years, and that's okay too. How do you handle keeping keeping those, how do you handle just goal setting with your teams and keeping them motivated, especially in times, I mean, right now we're in hyper growth, right? But sometime soon we will plateau and January or February will hit, and who knows, maybe we're still going to be in hyper growth. But how do you handle that constant motivation when things do start to kind of slow down? Jessie, I'll come to you first. I'm going to ask you the same, Martha.
I'm a big believer that we can't motivate anybody, but we can help them find what motivates them. When I do ask them what motivates you, probably like 99.9% of the time, which is so sad, people don't know what motivates them because they've never thought about it. So that's part of our coaching, to kind of dig deep of asking questions of, when you felt motivated last time. Let's think about that. What was happening? Who was around you? What was, was it people? Was it a setting? Was it a smell? It could be anything. And then starting from there, and then we are able to hopefully use Sensi in some way to get that motivation to add value. Because remember, our mission with Sensi is to add value to lives, right? And add value to the world. And so, like you just mentioned, Kelly, how some people are they're happy where they're at, and we have to be happy with that. And what we're here for is to support those that that need more and want more, and provide it and educate them that it's available. But we need people to be happy where they're at too, because if every single person, wanted to join or wanted to, be leaders, we wouldn't have all the volume and the culture. We need people that are just happy being a consultant sometimes. And it's up to us to find out who those people are I know I'm beating it over the head, but by asking questions and coaching, because like I said, it's important to find out on an individual basis. And I think that's the hardest struggle with being a leader, is that it takes time. It's not about, one specific thing. There's lots of ways to connect with these people, like, on a communication level, but also you may have a totally different conversation with one person to dig and find out what motivates them, and then completely different with the next person. Because this person may know exactly what money motivates me. You're like, okay, well, let me show you how you're gonna make some money. You know what I mean? But then on the other hand, somebody's like that, I have all the money I need. I don't need money. And so we need to dig deep of why are you even here? What inspired you? And what, because the why is important, but it changes over time, which we all know. So again, going back to that 3-year certified, why are you still here? And that you may find what they find that motivates them is, I love finding the warmer of the month every month. That's what gets me excited, of like getting the new stuff. Okay, so you like surprises, you like something new. So that helps us as leaders to go, okay, this person, we can add value to them by sending surprises in the mail, or, being very informative with what's new that they may not realize because they don't get on their workstation all the time. So I can nurture this specific person by, like I have a Remind app. It's like a teacher's app, but it's for schools, but I use it with my team and my clients. And so I have a list of my frontline, a list of my leaders, a list of all the people in Las Vegas. So I can do blast for certain things, because text messaging is usually the best way to get somebody information fast, like Martha was saying. And if I know this person's never on the workstation, but I know what motivates her is new things coming out. Oh, check out this new buddy that's coming out today. And that's going to spark her. Yay! And that's going to help. But you may not be able to do that with, tons of people, but you can send a blast out, and that might be, like I said, turning her light on, and all you're doing is sending a text to, 20 to 100 people at the same time. So I don't really feel like there's ever a cut and dry answer with Sensi, but it's being okay with flexibility, being able to mold and be where those people are at. And, but also don't do what I did in the beginning, not help, ask the right questions to help lead them into a new direction that they may not know is available. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And it just brought me to another question that I want to throw at you too, Martha, is, I want to know, how do you train your team? Do you do weekly trainings, monthly trainings? What kind of trainings do you do for your team to help them realize, what's out there? And also, when you're reaching down and doing your coaching calls and you're putting your people in your groups, are you only doing your frontline, or are you doing this through your whole team?
I do a few different things. Going back to the servanthood leadership, I feel like, and some may disagree with me, but I believe I'm here to serve them. That's what I'm here for. And my father was a pastor of a church, so I've been in ministry my entire life, so that kind of goes along with that. And so I it's been probably over a year ago, I reached out to my entire team to see who wanted to grow this business. And not just on my front line, my entire team. And I found out some different ones that really wanted to work the business. And from there, I've had some second, third, even maybe even a fourth that really I started working with because they were not being led. So yes, I do work down. And once I really started working with them, some of them above them, seeing what was happening down there, and so they kind of started working a little bit themselves, and I started working with them, and I could have said, no, they don't deserve this, right? They haven't done all the work, because a few of mine, two of them that were promoted to director in October, they were pushed into that. Oh, they only needed that 2,000 TWV. But you know what? It's okay. Because if this business will help their family, if this business will bless their life, if they'll go ahead and pick up now and start leading, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So I do a few different things, and I try to meet people where they're at, because everybody is someplace different. Everybody's going to communicate differently. And I will do whatever it takes to help my team win. That's where I feel like I'm at. And so I do Facebook Lives in my group, and we've been focusing on personal growth. I feel that's where we're lacking. We have unlimited training out there for our teams. Like, there's so much training out there for our teams. So I feel where we're lacking, and within my group, has been personal growth. And so we've really been we're doing a book club. We're learning each other's Enneagrams. We do a monthly book club Zoom chat. Through Project Broadcast, we're sending out some, different things for the book club as well. So we're doing those. It's bringing that community. Like, some people, they might be a certified consultant, but they want to be a part of a book club, and that's okay, So we've been doing some different things like that. I do once a month group Zoom calls as well for trainings. I do one-on-one coach calls with those that are wanting it, and we kind of provide a growth plan for them, and setting some goals and some things that we're working towards, asking those key questions, those powerful questions to get them thinking. So there's a few different things that I do, but again, I try to meet people where they're at.
I love that. And so, Jessie, we have 1 more minute to stay on time. So talk fast, same question, but how do you train? Do you go down? What do you do?
Yeah, what comes to mind is I layer like Martha does. There's several different ways of communication. I do have a group page. I have for my entire downline. I have a team page just for my team, because I do have great directors that have their own team pages. So I want them to lead their teams and be that leader of their team. I do one-on-ones. I do some Marco Polos with just specific people, because it is time consuming. So those people are usually brand new, or they're like up and coming leaders, and they need that connection consistently. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, because I know I'm in a time zone, but I email, phone calls one-on-one. I do have the Calendly calendar that I set up every week, and every email that goes out for me has an invitation to set up time with me, whether you're in my down line, not even paying generation, I don't care, because like Martha said, we're here to serve. I love that she said that, because When I think about it, we're actually being paid to serve people, to help them find that they're valued and that they matter. And it could be just, they just want a conversation with you. And that could be the motivation, is just knowing that somebody cares on the other end. And that is so like timeless, right? And it's not expensive, but it's the most valuable thing that we possess, is our time and our value. And so sometimes people just need us as the leaders to see them. They just need to know that we see them, because they may feel like, I was just talking again, the leaders of my team the other day, or just this morning, that they see titles, and titles is really nothing. Most people don't understand titles. We're all consultants that are doing the same thing. We may have a little bit more experience that we can maybe share if they need it, but they need to feel that they're a part of a family, not below somebody, or, somebody's possession. I don't use the words my team or like join my team. I train people not to do that, because it's not about us. It's about how we can add value. And so we make sure that communication is across the board as much as possible that way. And how we do, I do weekly Monday calls every Monday with a Zoom. I didn't tell you guys that. And then I do a weekly leadership right after the Sensi leadership call at 10 o'clock with anybody that's a lead consultant and above, and they're welcome, because when you think about it, if they sponsored one person, that shows me enough that they're willing to grow and wanting to grow. They may not know how. They may have just sponsored their mom. I don't know. But it's important for me to provide resources and tools and connections for people, because once you do have a huge organization, like Martha said, we kind of have to have them present themselves to us. So the way I welcome everybody in my group is I use slybroadcast.com. That's a scheduled voicemail that's very specific, and it leaves a caller ID. So it looks like you just missed the call, but it's a way for me to get a blast out with my voice, welcoming them and inviting them to call me back. And the people that do want to know me, want to know their business, want to grow usually. And that's kind of how I find my next people that I'm going to be doing like one-on-one and spending time with them and adding them into groups. One last thing is, I don't necessarily only keep people, like if I'm doing coaching with like a group of people, which is the best way to do it, like maybe 5 to 8 people max. There are people that are brand new out the gate that are doing actions that are going to lead them. So I will invite them to to a leadership training. Sorry, I'm starting like getting a stutter lately. I'm seeing a neurologist, so it's hard for me to get my words out. But anyways, so I'll invite them even though they're brand new, because that doesn't, they may become a director in 4 months, and it's happened before. Like I invite them, I see the actions from the get-go, they're coachable. So I throw them in, and because I ask them, do you want to be a part of this? And if they're hungry enough, they don't feel intimidated that they don't know. I'll let them know that some things might be over your head, but you're doing the actions that are going to get you to this point. So I want you, like Martha said, to be connected to like-minded people, because you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to be like a sponge. And that's when I see people promote really fast, because that's the key, is connecting them with like-minded people.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sorry, we are 4 minutes over, so I apologize. I've monitored the chat too, and you guys were so good. You answered all the things, so I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and we will see you next Monday. Next Monday, you definitely want to join us. We have 2 amazing guest speakers that you are definitely going to want to know and hear from. So we will talk to you guys then. Have a great week.
Bye. Thank you.